Hello everybody and welcome back to Train Simulator 2020 Academy. So we'll continue where we left off in the last episode and we're going to start working through signalling. Now hopefully we can get through these today and then that should conclude our Academy videos. Let's find out. So we'll start with the DMU Two Aspect Signaling on the Class 170 DMU. Welcome back to the cab of the Class 170 diesel multiple unit. In this lesson we'll learn about home and distance signalling. Okay. When multiple trains operate on a railway line, they must separate to prevent collision. The line is divided into sections called blocks, and only one train is permitted into each block. Entry into each block is controlled by a signal, which indicates to the driver if it is okay to proceed. These are called home signals. Okay. With an increase in speed and the winding nature of railways, it is not always possible to see the home signals far enough ahead. In order to stop, if required, the driver therefore needs a warning. Okay? A second type of signal exists that warns of the approaching signal. That is called a distant signal and is seen on approach to any home type. Okay. The distance signal duplicates the state of the home signal, allowing the driver time to slow down and stop if required. Okay. The signal is now green, so your train is clear to depart. This concludes the explanation of two aspect signals. Okay. Scenario complete. That was pretty straightforward. So, that was quite straightforward, but I don't get what that had to do with the DMU train. But okay. So, electric warning and stop signals, BR189. Give that one a go. Welcome back to the cab of this BR189 electric locomotive. In this lesson we'll learn about warning and stop signals, okay? When multiple trains operate on a railway line, they must be separated to prevent collision. The line is divided into sections called blocks, and only one train is permitted into each block, so same as before. Entry into each block is controlled by a signal which indicates to the driver if it is okay to proceed. These are called stop signals. Okay. Speed and curves. With an increase in speed and the winding nature of railways, it is not always possible to see the stop signal far enough ahead in order to stop if required. The driver therefore needs a warning. A second type of signal exists that announces the approaching signal. This is called a warning signal and is seen on approach to any stop type. The warning signal duplicates the state of the stop signal, allowing the driver time to slow down and stop if required. So same as before, but a slightly different signalling board. Scenario complete. So that was pretty much just the same as the one before, it's just the board itself looked different. But yeah. So. Steam two aspect signalling. This one could be interesting. Let's have a look. Welcome back to the cab of this 4F steam locomotive. In this lesson we will learn about two aspect signals. Okay? When multiple trains operate on a railway, they must be separated to prevent collision. The line is divided into sections called blocks, and only one train is permitted, so same as before. Entry into each block is controlled by a signal which indicates to the driver if it is okay to proceed. They are called home signals, so this is pretty much the same as the other one, different type of signal again. With an increase in speed and the winding nature of railways, it is not always possible to see the home signal far enough ahead. In order to stop if required, the driver therefore needs a warning, same as before. A second type of signal is this, that warns of the approaching signal. This is called a distance signal and is seen on approach to any home type. The distance signal matches the state of the home signal, allowing the driver time to slow down and stop if required, so same as before. The signal is now green, so the train is clear to depart. This concludes the explanation of two aspect signals. So again, this was the same as the previous two, it's just a different type of signal again. So if you look at it, before they were like light boards with different coloured lights on. These ones are just like a little lantern with a light, and then they've got like the old-fashioned type flag sticking out. So up means go, down means stop or slow down. Now we are complete. Okay. So I think we'll probably get through all these today. It seems to be quite straightforward. So, diesel single head signal. That was a mouthful. Diesel single head signals in the SD70 Mac. Welcome back to the cab of the SD70 Mac diesel locomotive. In this lesson we'll learn about single head signals. Okay, and by the way, ignore this little thing here, I still have a controller plugged into my computer, so just ignore it. When multiple trains operate on a railway line, they must be separated to prevent collision. The line is divided into sections called blocks, and only one train is permitted into each block, same as before. Entry into each block is controlled by a signal. These signals are able to display three colours to the engineer. Okay. Watch the train ahead pull forward and how the signal change as a result. This means next block is occupied by another train. Right, okay. This means the second block ahead is occupied. Right, so when it was on red, it was occupied by another train. And then when it's yellow, it means that the second block ahead, so just after them lights, is occupied by a train. Okay. This means the third block ahead is occupied, so you can go into the first block. Okay. Now we are complete. Right, so that's quite basic and straightforward. So if the next block ahead of you is occupied by another train, it'll show red. If the block after that has a train in it, it'll show yellow, so basically proceed with caution. And then if it's in the third block, it will be green, which means you can proceed. But obviously, if you're going too quick, you're going to catch up to it, you're going to hit a red light. So, yeah, that's quite straightforward, quite easy to understand. Okay, 3 aspect signals in the 170 DMU. Welcome back to the lab of the Class 170 Diesel. In this lesson we will learn about 3 aspect signals. When multiple trains operate on a railway line, they must be separated to prevent collision. The line is divided into sections called blocks, and only one train is permitted into each block. Same message as all the previous. Entry into each block is controlled by a signal. These signals are able to display 3 colours to the driver, okay? Watch as the train ahead pulls forward and how the signal change as a result. This means the next block is occupied by another train. This means the second block ahead is occupied, okay? This means the third block ahead is occupied. So, again, basically, red means the block of track right in front of you is occupied. Yellow means the block after that block is occupied, so you can proceed, well, I'm assuming you can proceed with caution. And green means the third block ahead of you is occupied, so you're free to go, just obviously bear in mind, if you do go too quickly, you are going to catch up and hit that red light. It is quite simple to understand, and just thought I'd explain it a little bit more for those of you that might not get it. But yeah, no, it seems quite straightforward, that. Signal is now green, indicates that it is safe to depart. This concludes the explanation of the 3 aspect signal. Right, so yellow probably means that you can't proceed. You probably fail your scenario if you went ahead on a yellow. But I'm guessing as you're going down a track, if you're just driving along and you're on a yellow, you just want to slow down and keep it slow so that you don't hit that red light. Scenario complete. Okay. 4 more to go. So we've got electric combined signals. Welcome back to the cab of the BR189 Electric. In this lesson, we will learn about combined signals. As speed limits increase, the distance signal needs to be farther in advance. This means that it can end up being in the same location as the previous stop signal. Okay. To be economical, the two are combined into one signal with the ability to display states. When the signal shows red, this means you must stop as the block ahead is occupied. Yeah? When the signal is in this form, you are clear to proceed, but the next signal may be at danger, so be prepared to stop again. Right, so I was right before. So when it's yellow, you can proceed, but you want to keep it slow because you may hit another red light. Okay. When this is displayed, it means that you can pass the signal. You are at the end. You are at. Oh, right. When this is displayed, it means that you can pass the signal you are at and the next signal. Right, okay. Hey, that threw me a bit, that then. This concludes combined signals. You can always play again if you missed anything. So it's basically the same as all the others. There's no real difference in it. Scenario complete. There's no real difference between a lot of these. They are pretty much all the same, but we are going to continue and do them all just to make sure we don't miss anything. So, Steam 3 aspect signals. Let's have a look at this one. Welcome back to the cab of the 4F steam locomotive. In this lesson, we will learn about 3 aspect semaphore? If I'm pronouncing that right? Semaphore signals. As speed limits increase, the distance signals need to be farther in advance. This means that it can end up being in the same location as the previous stop signal, okay? To be economical, the two are combined into one signal featuring 2 arms. Okay. When the signal is in this form, you are clear to proceed, but the next signal may be at danger, so be prepared to stop again. Right, yeah, so green means you can go on this one, and then yellow means that the one ahead may be at stop. Okay. When the signal is in this form, you can proceed past the next 2 signals. Right, okay. Scenario complete. Straightforward again. Pretty much the same. They're all pretty much the same. Not really a lot of difference in them. These are multi-head signals, sorry. Welcome back to the cab of the ST70 Mac. In this lesson, we will look at multi-head signals. Okay. Splitting a single track into sections to separate trains is easy. Things get complicated when there are multiple tracks and switches to change between them. Signals now need to display more information to the engineer as to what situation is ahead of them. Okay. Ahead is a switch allowing our trains to cross to a parallel track. On the signal in front are 2 heads, upper and lower. Right, okay. The upper head relates to the track we are on. The lower head relates to the second route we could take beyond the signal, which as the signal changes watch as the signal changes as the locomotive ahead progresses down the track. Oh, okay. The lower head indicates that it is clear for our locomotive to diverge at the switch to the parallel track. The up head indicates that it is not safe to proceed along the current track. Right, okay. Scenario complete. That it? Okay. That was a very brief explanation of that. Right, and the last one. 4-aspect signaling. Right. Class 170. Welcome back to the cab of this Class 170 diesel. In this lesson we will learn about 4-aspect signals. It is assumed that 2 and 3-aspect signal lessons have already been completed. Well, yeah. As train speeds increase still further, signals must be spaced far enough apart for the driver to safely stop the train after passing a warning aspect. However, this distance can begin to impact the number of trains able to travel along the line in any given time frame. This is called a line capacity. Yeah, okay. In order to increase line speed and capacity, even more advanced warnings of adverse signals is required for the driver. A fourth light displayed yellow acts as an additional warning to the same as the single yellow indicator, right? Okay. Watch the signal ahead as the train in front pulls into the distance. This means the next block is occupied by another train. This means the second block ahead is occupied. Double yellow, advanced warning. This means the third block ahead is occupied. Right, okay, so this is similar to the other one, but instead of it being red, it's yellow. Right, okay. This means the third block ahead is occupied. Right, okay. Right, okay, yeah. Now we are complete. I don't really see how that was much different than the other type of signals, but yeah, that's pretty much it. Right, guys, that is all Academy sessions completed. We are now officially a train sim driver, fully qualified. Let's see how we do on that one. So this concludes the Academy sessions. We may go through some of these tutorials on this page in the future, because we do have to do the training for the specific trains, but we'll see how we go on them, and just sort of take it from there. So thank you so much for watching. I hope you've enjoyed this video and this series, and we'll see you all again in the next video. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.